American Graduate Getting to Work is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.
Hello, I'm Suzanne Smith with WFSU Public Media. Life after high school doesn't always mean a four-year college degree. But what other options are there? Tonight, WFSU Public Media and American Graduate ask what's next for high school graduates and explore career and technical educational opportunities in our area. Joining me tonight is Kim Kelling, Director of Content and Community Partnerships here at WFSU Public Media, Shelly Bell, Director of Career, Technical, and Adult Education at Lively Tech, Dan McGrew, General Manager at CareerSource Capital Region, Teresa Dennis, the District Graduation Coach with Leon County Schools, and Jacob Blackman, an HVAC student at Lively Tech. Now, this program is live on Tuesday, October 30th on WFSU TV and at WFSU Media on Facebook. We ask that you share your questions on our Facebook Live or tweet us using the hashtag WFSUAmgrad. You can also email your questions to amgrad@wfsu.org.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. I really want to kick off our discussion around career and tech education. It seems like this is getting more play. We had gone through a period where it was like everyone has to go to college, but now there's just this big push for career and tech ed. And Shelly, why do you think that is?
I think when you look at it, we went from it vocational education, and now we've rebranded it with career and technical education. And part of the reason that happened was there was a stigma attached to vocational education that somehow it was just kind of like where you push kids, 15, 20 years ago, they couldn't, you pushed them to the vocational courses. Well, what we realize now is we have a lot of jobs in our community. We have a gap when it comes to people going in the building trades and a lot of the healthcare professions. And we're starting to see that this is where our jobs are in our community. And we need students to get the career and technical training to go into those fields, but also recognizing that we're not saying that don't go the college route. We're just trying to make sure students, as they come out of the K-12 setting, are both career and college ready. And so making sure that students know what the career and technical education opportunities are that lead to jobs in our community, in our state, across the country. And so you're seeing that because we have an aging workforce and a lot of our traditionally thought of as vocational fields, that we've got to push younger students to fill those spaces.
And Dan, I'm sure you're seeing this in the work you do at CareerSource. People coming in looking for jobs. How do you, what did you say the current unemployment rate is?
Well, the current unemployment rate is 3.7%, but it's a little misleading because there's a huge demand for very specific jobs. And as the local workforce development board, CareerSource Capital Region is charged with working with employers in our 3-county area and helping them find good qualified talent. And what we see and are faced with on a regular basis, which is what most employers in our community see, is a skills gap between the positions that they're looking for and the skill of the people who are looking for work. So, just in our latest unemployment report from September, of the top 6 jobs that are posted in our area, the ones that don't require a 4-year degree, registered nurses, heavy tractor and trailer and truck drivers, computer user support technicians, all of those certifications can be attained in much less than 4 years. In fact, you can get a commercial driver's license in a few weeks. You can get into healthcare with a CNA in a couple months. So the opportunities are there for non-college degree type positions.
And you can always go on to college. Some of these, it's just a starting point, like your healthcare profession. I mean, you can start with one certification that could lead you to a 4-year degree way down the road, but you can be working while you're earning that degree.
And that's the way that most of our workforce development boards are looking right now is in sector, what's happening within the sector and what credentials are stackable, right? Mm-hmm. So you can start working at $10, $12 an hour while you work on that next stackable credential to increase your earning potential down the line. And that's true in all of the major fields, whether it be healthcare, manufacturing, construction, in IT, especially in IT, those opportunities are there.
So Teresa, being at the school level and you're working with students as they're trying to find their path post high school, and you're also working with parents. So how do you navigate the options that are out there and help parents and students know their choices?
Well, my background in school counseling, a lot of what we do is not only the academic advising piece, but also getting them to start thinking about the future, thinking ahead, from what classes are you going to take from one year to the next to build to where you want to go and then beyond. I can remember talking to ninth graders and saying it's not too early to start thinking beyond high school, because then that's going to help guide you through the next 4 years, which are going to go by very quickly. And so helping them to not only connect the academics, but also start thinking about their interest. Okay, well, you say you enjoy an airplane technology. Well, there's, aviation programs that you could even be dual enrolling in high school while you're finishing up your high school degree or going beyond. So kind of helping them connect to all the different pathways that make up post-secondary, from the technical career and technical education side to the college side of things.
Dual enrollment, and that's what you did, right, Jacob? You were dual enrolled. How did you learn about that?
Well, when I was in high school, I had help by Miss Shelly and also Miss Blair at Godby High School, and they were like, Jacob, you might want to go check out Lively your junior year and your senior year to see what you want to do. And I was like, that sounds like a good idea, and why not do it? Because once I can be straight out of high school, and I can go straight to work.
That's great. I think we have a question.
Yes, we actually have a couple of questions that have
right.
already come in on Facebook. We're going to go to the first question now. What are some of the top Cte fields for our region? That was from Kevin Smith.
Healthcare and building trades. I would say we're hearing from the CNA, which is the Certified Nursing Assistant, to locally LPN, licensed practical nurses. And a new one that we're hearing a lot about, we get a lot of calls for, is medical assistants. And then, of course, in the building trades, and we heard some numbers this morning just about anything from plumbing to electrical to HVAC to roofing to framers, everything in the building trades area.
Has that increased because of the hurricane damage that's happened throughout the region?
What we heard today was the hurricane damage exacerbated that, but these are trends that are in the making for a while. They were saying there were increases in backlogs, upwards of 9 to 18 months out, depending upon the size of the contractor or the company. And that's job security, and
It sounds like,
that's
Jacob,
a demand, right?
You are never going to worry about having a job.
But those things are just exacerbated by the hurricane, because and for our local area, what we heard today was a lot of folks are leaving our local area to go to the areas of most need.
Which then is going to be,
which
if you want to get your
right.
plumbing redone, or you want a new tile job in your kitchen, you might be waiting a while.
Right. So I think those types of things just increase what's already there. But these are issues that we've been faced with as a local community for a while.
So
Go ahead.
How are we?
We
I'm curious, how do we get students to know about these opportunities? I mean, it's, college is so successful in getting that word out. We see it on TV. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a forensic something because I watched all those shows, NCI. How do we get the word out to students about the need for these jobs?
And that's difficult. A lot of it needs to come from the community all talking the same message. And I think knowing where our jobs are and what the job forecast, not just here locally, but across the state. And, the Department of Economic Opportunity does a great job in putting out data. But as a student, I think if they know these are the jobs right here in Tallahassee, or these are the jobs in the Big Bend, and this is what it takes to get there. So look at the nursing field. If I want to go eventually and be an RN, I can start off as a CNA while I'm in high school, because we have those programs in high school, or I can dual enroll while I'm in high school just to see if I like it, like what Jacob did. Let me go and try it out. I've got a couple elective periods in my schedule. I'm going to dual enroll at Lively or the technical center near me, see if I like it. If I do, that's maybe a pathway that I can keep going on. But we've got to make sure that our students know that these are good paying jobs. We've got to let parents know that it is okay if a student comes home and says, you know what, I want to be a welder, or I'm interested in the building trades, or I want to go into an IT field, because they all can lead to very lucrative careers, and they're what are in demand right here in our community.
I think the social media outlet is definitely the way that's moving forward. I was just having a conversation with a colleague, and they were advertising through Twitter and, you know, some of these other social media feeds, and got a response, I think, more so than maybe they did from traditional email announcements. So I think using those media outlets, just like all the other entities do, to just keep sharing that information and putting it forward, I think helps them connect, and then they can come, you know, and ask their school counselor, their teachers, okay, wait, I saw this, you know, how do I learn more? And then we can point them and connect them with, you know, our resources in the community directly. I do a lot of that with the, you know, program that I work with and the students that I work with, connecting them with.
Well, speaking of social media, we actually have some more questions. So let's take the next question that we received. I think it was from Facebook. I'm interested in encouraging and promoting early childhood education through high school CTE programs, but it is a low-wage career. How can we address the compensation issue for this field? Anybody want to tackle that one?
I mean, I personally think that's the responsibility of the businesses and the employers in our community. And at some point, the demand you have to do something. If you're not getting the skilled folks for what you need, you have to do something. And if that includes increasing the wage costs to entice more folks into that field, I think that's what, as a business owner, what ultimately you have to do, or at least a variable you have to consider when deciding, you know, how you're going to run your operation or run your business.
And one more question from Facebook, I believe, that we have. What kind of costs are involved in some of the certification courses like CDL or CNA, which are short in duration? Is there financial aid available for these short certification courses?
You want to start?
I can start. Financial aid through Pell is not available for some of the short courses. That there is a minimum of 600 hours, and in Career and Tech Ed, our programs are based on clock hours versus credit hours, so you have to have a minimum number of hours. But there are other resources, like Dan.
So as a local workforce development board, we have access to federal grant dollars that are here really and specifically designed to bring about, to help promote a skilled workforce. So we offer scholarships, if you will, for eligible participants in our community to get into high skill, high wage, certification level type positions. So we can, for eligible participants, pay for things like a CNA program or a CDL. We can pay for registered nurses, welders, HVAC, masonry, building and construction trades, and the list goes on and on. A great resource, you're kind of piggybacking onto how do we learn more about this. One of the things that CareerSource Capital Region has launched in the last year is a website called mycareerpathways.org. And what we've done on that website is broken down by industry, the various professions in our community, in our industry, and linked that to the education providers in our community that are training for those careers. So you can see quickly at a glance what types of professions there are that require these types of credentials, how those credentials stack, what those salary ranges are for each of those types of positions, and who in our community, TCC, Lively Technical, and others who are training folks for those positions. So it's a quick kind of one-stop shop to go to find out more about those types of careers.
And we want to take a moment, and we're going to look at a video that sort of looks at those exact things you were talking about involving welding. So I'd like to introduce everybody to a young man named Bennett Bartlett.
I'm Bennett Bartlett. I'm here at Lively Welding. Been here for 3 semesters, about a year and a half, and I am in my 3rd semester of the advanced training side of Lively Welding.
He attended college for a year. He wasn't happy with it.
He got better grades than
Right.
he did in high school.
He just didn't see a great future in it.
They'd always say, as long as you're doing something, we don't mind, or we're happy for you. But I think their first expectations were that I was going to go to a traditional 4-year university and get a degree in business or something. I like school. I like going to school. I like learning about stuff. I like learning about science and all that school had to learn, but it wasn't the right environment for me. I didn't like going there and kind of sitting in the classroom setting and staring at a book for 6-7 hours a day, and it wasn't really for me.
I didn't know any welders personally. I didn't know anyone who was in that field or in that line of work, then only to come to find out that it is something in huge demand, and there's a great financial reward to it as well.
I'm in the first part of the advance. That starts off at your third semester when you really get to open groove stick pipe, where you have two coupons, you gotta fill that gap with the weld. Then you start off there and then you advance on to open root TIG welding, and then that also gets you off to the more advanced section of welding, and with each certification, that gets you higher up on the pay scale as far as the job is concerned. I think I'm doing pretty well. It is kind of, it's hard work, but as long as you are in your booth and you're working and you don't be afraid to ask the teachers questions, that's kind of the one thing that is more notable about here versus the classroom setting is no one wants to raise their hand. But here, if you go to one of your instructors, you're like, hey, I'm having trouble with this, what do I do? Can you come watch me do it for me? They don't have any problem, and there's no embarrassment behind it. And you can make really good money in trades because there's a big gap and no one really considers it. So the job is there waiting on you. You have to show up and perform for that job.
All right, and that was Bennett learning about the welding, which is similar to what Dan was talking about. Kim, want to take from here?
I'm curious, Jacob, watching that, did that feel familiar to you?
Yes, ma'am.
So when you made the decision to look at dual enrolling and then going into this HVAC program, what did your parents say? What did they think?
They said whatever makes you happy. If you go see what you want to do and whatever you want to do, just make sure you enjoy it. Don't do it just because of the money. Do it for the experience of it and learn how to get better and better and better at it, because you never know, you might be the best there ever is and you would never know if you didn't try.
That's good advice. I'm not sure all parents are that wise. Is that something that, do we see that parents can sometimes be the challenge in getting students to pursue career and technical education?
From my experience and being a former high school principal, I think sometimes parents have this preconceived idea of what they want their student to do, or that they want them to follow their pathway, or that for some reason they still think that four-year degree is how you measure success. And so getting parents to see where the jobs are, and oftentimes once you show them, here's the demand locally or here's the demand regionally. And by the way, they can start on the dual enrollment piece while they're in high school, and it's free, it's covered by the school district. That tends to change their mind a little bit, but sometimes it is difficult for parents to kind of see exactly when the student may come home and say, I want to go into welding, or I'm thinking I want to go and do cosmetology, that it's like, well, that's not exactly what I had planned for you. But when they see the future earnings that they have and the time it's going to take to get there, that sometimes it's much quicker, and it's really what's going to make their child happy, we can, get them to rethink what career and technical education looks like.
Mm-hmm. We have another question from Facebook. Is it possible for these students to do a trial days with a professional in the field to get a sense of what the job would be like? It's similar to what you were just talking about. Is that something that...
We do allow students to come over and shadow. We encourage students to come and take a tour of our campus. I know that's something Jacob had done, and to really see what it's like. And this is one of the reasons why you're seeing a trend of putting back some of the programs back on high school campuses. I look at the health profession. The last thing you want is someone to decide they want to go to nursing school, but their first day of seeing blood, they figure out, that's really not for me. So by putting some of these programs back in the school setting, or getting students to at least take a class in maybe healthcare, or do the summer CNA program that's short, to figure out, first of all, is this something I want to do? And so we definitely encourage students to come look at the programs that we have, and also look at what's on their high school campus, because you'll find more and more programs are being pushed back into the K-12 setting.
And Dan, I know we've talked a little bit in the past about apprenticeships and trying to have more opportunities for students or while they're in training to have that chance to follow a professional around?
So I'll speak first about a program that we partner with Leon County called the Leon County Junior Apprenticeship Program. So as a partner of that program, we are training, we're providing soft skills training and then also providing work-based training opportunities. So I believe that application window for the spring is still open. So if that's something that you're interested in, and the county has put up a number of positions in some skilled trades, so you can get a great walkthrough of what a day in the life is like for a semester. But that's another thing that we employ at CareerSource Capital Region is a work-based training model. So for some positions, not only do you require a certificate, or maybe you don't require the certificate, but we can actually put you to work with an employer to learn what that's like, what is going to be expected of you on the job. And the employers, it's a win for them as well, because they can now take a look at and train somebody fresh how they want to be trained,
Exactly.
right, in that industry and for that company. So that's a great model. And apprenticeship is the next step. So the apprenticeship, and here in our community, I know we're partnering very closely with Shelly at Lively and with TCC as well to get some established apprenticeships in our community, which are longer term training programs where folks earn money while they are learning and attempt to get to that journeyman level status. Mm-hmm. So that's a very hot topic around the country to solve this need, and it's something that we're working very hard to get established in our community.
That's great. I wanted to ask you, Teresa, because you are really on the front line working with the students and the parents. Do you see more acceptance from parents to think about their child going maybe not the path that the parent might have laid out?
I mean, I think ultimately you always see that the parent wants their child to move in a forward, successful direction. You know, they want their child to be in a, financially independent, successful
financial independence is
future.
Very critical. I have a kid in. Yeah, I know that.
Yes,
world.
I know. I have two. Mine are just getting into the middle school era, but so I think ultimately I think that for a long time the idea that post-secondary was just college or university, and I think helping them understand that post-secondary actually encompasses a variety of pathways, including 1-2-year programs. Sometimes in those programs a shorter option with some of these that only take a few months, that then can continue them on that pathway that may end up leading them in a more focused direction to college, or give them more of a focus when they do decide to go that route. So I think just helping them to kind of understand that there's a variety of options, and connecting them with the detailed information to help them to see that, okay, my child can be independent financially, they can support themselves, they can find a career pathway that they find meaningful, and in some cases maybe connect them back to that continuing their education beyond high school, and understanding what that entails. So
sounds great.
And I think also it's, if they go down a road and decide maybe that's not for them and they learn another area that they're interested in, there's still time to pursue that. Or if they have gone off and done something else and said, you know what, I do want to get more certification,
absolutely,
they can come back.
I tell parents all the time, or students actually, and for a long time, college is always there. It's not if you don't go at this time, it's not an option. And the same with post-secondary, but I think it's helping them remember that, you can start connecting while you're in high school. You can start, experiencing classes that are on the campus, digital media or welding or nursing, that'll help you potentially then go on to continue and finish an extended certification, or maybe take that, go work, and continue your education beyond that.
So Jacob, what are your friends, what are they doing, and what do they think about what you're doing? Peer pressure is always huge.
Yes, ma'am. Peer pressure is always huge, and I've always kind of really done my own thing and went my own way. I hang out with a few friends, and I support them just like they support me, and anything they do and anything that I do, is kind of just what you want best for yourself. Mm-hmm. And down the road, you may look back and say, dang, I really wish I would have hung out with my friends more, but you go down the road and you start getting into bills and everything like that, and having to pay for your own things. You wanna sit there and say that you got your own money, you can go out and buy your own things and learn how to manage your money. It's kind of like like everyone says, becoming an adult, you gotta know what's best for yourself. And
That's absolutely true. Adulthood is knocking on the door.
Kim, before you ask the next question, I wanted to remind everybody who is watching at home that they can ask us their questions by going to Facebook and at WFSU Media, or they can hashtag on Twitter WFSU AmGrad, and we can get the questions that way, or email us amgrad@wfsu.org. We are talking about career and technical education opportunities in our community, and we are joined by some wonderful guests. And the topics have been quite diverse. We've been getting several questions from Facebook and hoping some more from Twitter and from email as well.
Well, the American Graduate Project that we're focusing on here at WFSU, we're looking at 16 to 24-year-olds. So, Dan, if someone finishes high school, they've graduated, or maybe they didn't, how do we help them find their path? Maybe we've lost them, they've already dropped out of school, so we're not in that, so they might come into you. How do we reach them?
So this is our wheelhouse, right, at CareerSource. So we run a program which we call Dynamic Futures, which is specifically designed for the out-of-school youth age 16 to 24 who's at risk of kind of moving forward. So what we do is we employ a structured kind of program. I don't want to call it school because school isn't for everybody, but we run a structured program that teaches everything from basic human resources training to professionalism, soft skills. And it's really designed to help that young adult get to that first professional level type position. So included in that program, we do a career exploration. We have assessments, career assessments that we administer to help people kind of find that path. We also employ a very robust work-based training program. So if someone is interested in IT, we can put them to work in IT to learn some skills, or the same with healthcare, manufacturing, et cetera. But that program is really designed to get our young adults get that exposure to any number of fields, and a lot of them are in the career and technical education. We send them to school, post-secondary, to gain those skills as well. So that's that. And where do we receive people? How do people know to come to us? Well, some know from word of mouth from other friends of theirs that have gone through the program, but also we partner with a lot of community groups and agencies. We work very closely with Ms. Dennis over here. So she's trying to re-engage folks to get back into school or get back into the school system. We hope to be a part of that process for the right students. We work very closely with Lively and other organizations throughout the community.
And these programs like Lively, TCC, Workforce Development, you can be any age to go to these programs.
Right.
So what's the average age of your students, Shelly?
I would say our average age right now is probably about 25, 26, but we're seeing more and more veterans come to us that have, served our country, and they're coming back to learn a new skill or trade. We also are seeing a lot of moms, a lot of younger moms who maybe have toddler or elementary age children who have decided they want to do something for themselves. So we really are seeing more people come into our doors that really run all ages. We have a gentleman in our building trades program, and he's in his 70s. And then we'll have high school students that are dual enrolled with us that are 16, 17 years old. So really, any age can come to us. Our doors are open. Our programs, traditionally, we have enrollment in the fall and in the spring, and then we have quarterly enrollment with a lot of our building trades, HVAC, automotive, welding programs as well as short courses that we offer in the summer or just periodically that we'll put out there, a short 8-week program that somebody can come and get a credential.
And I also want to I know that you're working in tandem with county and city agencies to make sure that you're providing the coursework that lands a job, that there's a need there, that you're not just like, today we're going to start this program.
No, I mean, I look at our newest program is in diesel tech, and that came, one, because we're looking at the industries right here, right across the county line in Gadsden County, that we've got Freightliner over there, we've got, who are some of the other big ones?
Peterbilt.
Peterbilt, and they came to us and said, we can't find a diesel mechanic. We can't find him. And so we worked with our business partners and said, okay, if we're going to start a program, we need you to employ them. And so we're never going to start a program or offer a program that there are not jobs right there in our community.
So, I mean, to me, that's like great information for students, parents to know that, you know, so many times our students go off to college with no idea what they want to do, and they graduate and still don't know what they want to do, where these are very targeted programs that lead directly to a job, and very needed jobs that support our
Absolutely.
community.
Absolutely. I look even in the HVAC program, all of our guys and girls who are in that program, we can get them jobs. Medical assisting, and I mentioned that earlier, is the hot one right now. We probably get 2 to 3 calls a week from someone saying, when is your next group graduating? We're ready. We need to hire them. And so the jobs are there. I know Dan sees that with what their data shows. The jobs are there. We just need people to come and get the skilled training to be able to fill
So
those
it's
jobs.
that gap, filling that gap.
Yep.
All right, we have one more Facebook question. I mean, we're welcoming other people to let us know their Facebook questions or Twitter questions or email questions. But the Facebook question is, how does a student's academic record impact their ability to enroll in these programs? Are there prerequisites for acceptance? All right.
So at Lively, really there's not. If you have at least your high school diploma, some doors open for you that you can apply for financial aid and maybe get some financial assistance through Pell. If you don't, we're not going to turn you away. But you know, if you're just coming in and you don't have your GED, we may talk to you first about at least going and getting your GED with adult and community education, and then starting one of our programs. We do try to provide counseling for all the students that come in. So if math isn't really your thing, we may talk to you about if it's nursing, because there's a lot of drug math, or in pharmacy, if math's not your thing, you maybe don't want to go and be a pharmacy tech. If the sight of blood, you know, something, so we're going to have those conversations with you. If you love to work with your hands, whether it's automotive or HVAC or welding, and we're going to try and help you to figure out your best place. And we have some placement tests that we give students to kind of, and sometimes they come and say, I just don't really know. And so we'll help them make those decisions. We'll help them explore the program, see what it is that they thought they liked, and then what it is that they really do like, because we want to make sure we're putting them with the best fit. But as far as a GPA, there's not a minimum for that.
You don't have to take the SAT.
Don't have to take the SAT, don't have to take the ACT. If you're a high school student and you want to dual enroll, the school has to give you permission. The only thing we ask is that you're at least 16 years or older.
And I know there's a partnership for students who are very, interested in doing maybe a full-time dual enrollment, where they can potentially partner with doing their academics with Leon County Virtual School, which is also housed at on the Lively campus, while doing their full-time dual enrollment as well in some of those programs where it's not a part-time option. So there are some pathways.
And Dynamic Futures is they have to go through the GED if they haven't graduated, right?
If they haven't graduated, and that's a barrier to either employment or to education, we partner with ACE and send folks over there and pay for their education and their test as well.
So hearing all this and knowing there's a skill gap, and you get these, young people coming in who want a job but may need some training for that job, what do you see as the biggest challenge in getting that gap filled in what you see, like in the people that come through your doors, your students?
I think this is a challenge for everyone, right? Is finding the time because you have to earn a living, right? So you either have rent, or you have a car payment, or you have insurance, or you have children. So you have to take care of those things while also finding the time to fit in a certification or an educational program. So I think that always becomes the challenge. So the more our education institutions, I know at Lively, they're offering some night programs as well that allow for that. I think that's great. The short-term certifications, just being able to see that future. If I can get a 6-week certification, I can make things work for 6 weeks. Then I can get a job and make things work for a year. And then I can get a job and make things work for 2 years and continue to stack those credentials. But it's painting that picture and educating the community and letting them know that the path is there, and here's how we can help you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We're going to take a moment and explore another video that we did about another option for exploration called Leon Works. And we're going to go ahead and show you what that is all about.
My name is Johnny Davis. I go to Success Academy and I graduate 2016.
My name is James Andre Fuse II. I go to Success Academy and I'll graduate in 2016.
I am Melissa Hodges, graduating from the Success Academy in 2016.
I was at Ricketts. I was skipping school. Like, I ain't never really used to go to school at Ricketts or nothing like that. I just used to like to stay home. Ricketts is just like, how can I say it? Like, it was like an entertainment school for me. Just like somewhere to go to have fun. Like, I was like really off track at Ricketts. I ain't really care about nothing at Ricketts. I ain't really want to do nothing. So then I used to love to fight and stuff too.
And because my parents just sort of just took me out and put me in this school, Success Academy. Distractions were mainly girls and like to play around a lot.
I thought it was like a jail. I didn't enjoy it at all.
What changed?
My mindset changed. The people didn't change really, it was just all me, and I was like, oh gosh, I gotta adapt to it now. I got on board with everything what they was doing, and I was like, oh, okay, it's not too bad. And they could actually help me, so I was like, okay, I guess I'll cooperate.
I want to get a business degree or some like certificate with business. I want to be working for myself. That's what I want to do.
Any kind of type of work that you think you'd like to do?
Probably real estate.
My goal is to finish early and dual enroll at TCC. I want to work in the labor and delivery department. So,
Why that?
Oh, because my sister had a beautiful baby, and I was there to watch everything. So I was like, whoa,
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then my sister had this nurse. She was like very, I don't know what you would say, like rude, and she wasn't really there for her, but I wanted to be the person that was like, oh, I'm gonna help you, like, I don't know. I wanted to be part of that experience.
At first, I wanted to do law enforcement, but that changed. They told me that engineering, because I love math, so I wanted to try that out. But when I went to the orientation, they showed me how to like use the tools and stuff at welding, and then they told me how much money they made. My highest is like $40 an hour. So I said, yeah, I'll do that. And it's a hands-on experience. So I took the chance. Well, we do the training right now. I go over to the library, actually. We started the second week of school, the hands-on training and welding, and we do the book work at home, I guess.
Now, all the students that were there got a chance to experience the Leon Works Career Expo that happens. Is it a yearly event? And originally it was going to be this coming Friday, but because of the hurricane, it's been postponed now to March. So it's going to be, we have a graphic of when that is going to be, and the kids are able to see all the different careers and explore some of that.
It really started, Marianne Lindley, one of our commissioners, really felt there had to be a focus on trades because of what we were just talking about. There's a huge need to engage more people going into these fields. So she organized, along with the Office of Economic Vitality, engaging businesses to come and set up for a day. It started at Lively, but it got so big now it's at the Civic Center, where students from all over the area can come and talk to people in these professions and learn. What does it take? What kind of skill sets do I need? What type of personality is good for this work? Students get to ask directly. So I just think that's an important part of how do we expose kids to the job opportunities out there. We have limited, wherever kids are watching what they see on TV, that tends to be what the jobs they think about. And there are so many more jobs out there than that. So it's like, how do we build awareness around this?
Well, let's ask our person who is that age.
Yeah.
Jacob, where do you look to find information like this?
Well, I've had a lot of help from my teachers at Lively, Mr. Steve and Mr. Darren. They've helped me out a lot. And in fact, my first job that I did in the field was with Donald Guy Heating and Cooling, and Mr. Steve and Mr. Darren helped me out, and they told me, they said, Mr. Darren come up to me, he said, Jacob, I need you to tighten down on your book work and get most of your book work done, that way you can go into the externship. He said, but also you need to go back there and get hands-on experience, that way you'll know what to do if you see something similar out there in the field. And it really helped me out a lot. And I'm not one to sit in a book and read all day. I like to work with my hands and get hands-on experience because it helps you out a lot more than just reading a book.
But at the same time, once it was defined to you, like, okay, you do this schoolwork because it's going to lead you to this,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
probably motivated you to get that schoolwork done in a different way.
It did, and everything in our textbook leads up to where we need to go in the shop and what we need to learn, and also our lab books where it describes what tools you need, what you need to do, where you need to go, and everything like that. And it helps you in the future when you go out there and work in the field and you say, oh, I seen that when I was in school, and it all comes to your brain at one time.
So for the rest of you, when you listen to these students as they're going through does that all sound fairly familiar to you? Those students trying to figure out what they want to do? And
It does, and I think one of the values, and Jacob brought this up, of the technical education is everything you do is leading to something, and you clearly can make that link. It's not sitting and learning learning literature or English and trying to figure out when will I use this in my future. If you're learning how to hook up Freon tanks, exactly how you're going to use that in your future. And as a parent myself of 4 kids, I think about I consciously have to think about the conversations we have at the dinner table, because my kids will say things like, well, when I go to Florida State. I'll say, well, if you go to Florida State, because there's a lot of other options out there. But that's a very conscious decision, and only because I see the success that folks like Jacob and folks before him have had in other fields. So it's a hard thing, I think, as a parent, just to open a different set of opportunities or a different set of doors that you may not have gone through. And I think it's incumbent upon all of us to be aware and be educated to do that.
so for parents who might be watching or listening to this, and or a student, what are the different tools they can access to kind of figure out where their skill sets might be? Are there different types of things they can be looking at?
There are. If you're a K-12, there's resources online. My Career Shines.
And that's offered by the state, right?
That's a state resource, and that connects them with, information specific to our state, from employment to education, programs around our state. But as simple as just an interest inventory. Okay, answer these questions, and based on what you said you liked versus you weren't interested in, it's going to generate and focus information for you. Well, hey, you may be interested in some of these career pathways, and then here's what what you would need to do. Here are classes you can take while you're in school, in high school, in K through 12. Here's where you go after that, whether it's to a 1 to 4 year program. So it gives them that hands-on. So there are those resources. There's school counselors.
And I
resources.
think Career Shines is also a link on the CareerSource website, and so you can get through it through the CareerSource Capital Region.
And that's a shared resource, which is
Right.
great that the local school districts and after you're out of school, we're using the same
Right.
exact resource, which again, and Teresa said it just links directly to the local job market. So here's what you're interested in,
Right.
and here are the positions in our area. So.
Now, what about for people who, watching this, who live outside of Capital or CareerSource Capital Region, outside that area?
So fortunately, CareerSource is a statewide workforce development, and we're one of 24 workforce boards throughout the state of Florida that are all called CareerSource something. So the best place if you're outside of our region is go to CareerSourceFlorida.com, and you can find from your county who your local CareerSource region is. And those opportunities that we've talked about today, they may be doing it in a slightly different fashion, but the CareerSource network throughout the state is aligned to the in-demand positions in those local communities, and they are partners with the local education institutions to provide those opportunities.
The linkage is just, I think we've come a long way in being able to make sure we're all working from the same page and have information out there that makes sense for people. And the same for Lively. There are other career and tech places throughout the state.
Absolutely. There's, I think it's 48 or 49 public career tech colleges / centers similar to what we have here at Lively. And they serve, and you can go to any one of them, go and look at their school district and find their information on career and technical education. And it may be at their technical center, technical college. But just like here in Leon County, you don't have to be in Leon County to come to Lively. We serve students from Franklin, from McCullough. We have students that drive over from Bay County. We have students that move here to take advantage of like our airplane, power plant and maintenance program, because they're few and far between. And so we have students that will come to us, just like welding's another one, that will come here, just like you're coming to go to Florida State or Tallahassee Community College, that will move to the area to take advantage of one of our technical programs that we have.
Now, there's also, right now, going back to, we had talked about Leon Works before, there's another event coming up on November 15th that it's a hiring fair for people. Tell us about that.
So on November 15th, which is a Thursday, CareerSource Capital Region is hosting our Paychecks for Patriots job fair. That is from 9 to 12:30 at the FSU Turnbull Center. From 9 until 10 a.m., it is only for veterans. So only for veterans, and they can get first crack at the employers that we'll have there. And then from 10 to 12:30, it's open to the general public. So we will have employers who are looking to hire immediately. So come on out and join us. You can register ahead of time at CareerSourceCapitalRegion.com, and you just find the banner for Paychecks for Patriots and click there.
It's a catchy name.
Mm-hmm. It is in honor of November and Veterans Day around the corner. We typically will have our veterans hiring event right in that middle part of November every year.
That's great. Well, we know we have a lot of veterans. I mean, we have a lot of veterans at TCC. FSU has a very big veterans program. I think that would be attractive to a lot of people. So, Dan, how do we, I'm still getting back to, like, for those students to find out how to engage with you, and for parents, how to know what CareerSource does. Can they go online? What would they find?
The website is the best first place to start. If you're interested in our program, we have links for pre-applications on the website as well. I think the long and short of it is, and there's a lot you can read on the website on what we do and how we do it. But if you're interested in changing careers, if you're interested in exploring careers, you're interested in gaining skills to attain a career, come see us. You can stop by any one of our 4 centers. We have 2 in Leon County, 1 in Gadsden, and 1 in Wakulla County. And all the addresses are on the site. Come in and see us and speak with one of our talent acquisition specialists or one of the folks that we have in the front. We're here to help. In addition to that, you can read a lot on the website, but our role is to be a conduit and to help in any way that we can to explore. So whether you're eligible for some of our scholarship programs or work-based training programs, we can help you determine that or help you find that out. And if you're not, we're a great place to just get information. And you can go to www.employflorida.com, which is our state's labor exchange system. That's where the employers that we work with are posting jobs for free. It's where you can apply for jobs. So if you want to get an idea of what's available in our community or in our area, you can check out employflorida.com.
Well, that's a good point. So if I'm an employer and I'm looking for somebody, can I go to you and say, hey, I need XYZ, and you'll help me find those positions?
And we can help in a number of different ways. The easiest way we can help is with a free job posting. So we don't charge for that. But we can help screen candidates or help you use Employ Florida to find candidates, much like you would use any other job search site. Some of the premier type services or solutions that we provide to businesses in the area is we will host recruitment events where we will help an employer hire upwards of 40 to 50 people in a day. So if you let us know how many human resource people you have to run interviews, how many positions you need, and what you're looking for, and we can help fill those interview slots for you. In fact, our next one is this Saturday in Gadsden County. We are assisting True Leave hire a number of different positions. I think they're looking upwards of 150 positions, and we are collecting resumes right now and screening. So, again,
what type of positions are they? I'm curious. Watering?
I think they are looking for everything from agricultural positions to operations positions as well, and everything in between. It's a growing industry.
It is.
And it's a new industry, so there's a lot of upside and a lot of opportunities for growth. From no pun intended, but a lot of opportunities for growth just from a career perspective. Rising the ranks and ladders as that organization grows. So that's one of the ways in which, and we've helped employers in a variety of. We've helped welders. We had a welding company come in from, I think it was Louisiana, Shelly, and we called Shelly, we called TCC, and they were able to send 30 folks over, I think, who got hired, got jobs on the spot. So we love those events. We like at CareerSource, we're hashtag changing lives, and that's one of the fastest ways that we can help somebody get from an unemployed status to an employed status in a heartbeat. So.
Well, I like that hashtag, because I know that the Tallahassee Chamber has this sort of hashtag, talent lives here. But they're really focusing on, I think, professionals. So how can we put some sort of swag into promoting talent lives here for the HVAC young person, Jacob, or the welder, or the tile person? How can we give swag to those professions?
That's difficult because welding has become apparently very sexy. Everybody wants to be a welder, and it shows just by our numbers that we have right now. We have, I think, 163 students enrolled in our welding program, but they also know the money's there. And this gets back to something that Dan mentioned earlier. When there's such a demand and no one to fill those spots, that's when the wages go up, and all of a sudden it becomes a little bit more attractive. And the welding industry has been able to do that. Now, granted, you may have to leave this area and you may go to work on a pipeline or up at one of the power plants in Augusta or over to New Orleans, but they can get the money. And so I think, in order to get some people into some of these other ones, they got to see the money. That's what they want. They want to see the money. And as we can show those ladders of success, that if you start here and you continue your way up, and I know some of our in the building trades, they're talking a lot about succession planning and doing just that, showing that you can come in an entry-level position, but after 2 or 3 years, you can be a project manager here, and then, after another 5 or 6, you can be up here. So showing those ladders and showing where the money is, that's how you're going to get more and more people in there. We know what the money looks like after maybe 10, 15, 20 years, but for a young person,
that
seems like coming out, right? Seems ancient. But if they can see that, wow, after 2 or 3 years, I may have my own truck. If I'm an electrician, I'm going to have my own truck and be able to get paid a little bit more. So things like that to show them that succession planning, I think, is really going to help.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Show me the money.
Own a home with no student loan debt. Do that.
That's the other one.
Right.
There's some swag right there.
Right, very.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Now, what kind of things, if we went to your website, Lively Tech, what kind of things can people find there?
You can see our entire course catalog. You can see an outline of every single program, the costs. We have a lot of videos on there, links to all of our social media. So you can really find anything you want to know about our programs are right there. And we have 38 full-time, part-time, nighttime, evening, all different offerings. So go to livelytech.com, and you can connect with us through our website as well.
And with Leon Schools, what kind of, I think we have, I know you can find out more about the dual enrollment program there.
So go to your school counselor, go to your admin. Your school counselors are going to have the information on what the criteria is, if there is any, what the process is, what the deadlines. They're going to have the forms. They're going to be able to assist those students and families in putting that plan together and helping them participate in some of these dual enrollment programs.
We're just beginning the conversation, all this. We're starting to wrap up here. Do you all have any final thoughts about what you want to talk about and what people should know about here?
I think they just need to open their mind a little bit and be open to what career and technical education is all about, and kind of put aside any of those old maybe myths that you thought about what vocational education looked like. Also invite them to come and look at our programs. We've got people coming out from the chamber and all different businesses, and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea you offered this program, or I had no idea this is what the welding lab looked like. So come out and see, come and talk to us.
Yeah, I think it's knowing that there's viable and solid career options that, after high school that are one to, your programs and that lead to solid wage and benefits in the workforce.
Yeah, and look around your community with a different perspective. Whenever you see construction happening, somebody's building that. If you're in a building, somebody built that. Somebody set up the IT for that computer to work, or for even at a retail establishment for that point of sale system to work. Somebody set that up. Somebody has to fix that. Somebody's keeping the air conditioning running, right, at 24 hours a day.
Right.
Like all of these things that we enjoy and take for granted on a regular basis, somebody did that, and the person who did that was very skilled, right?
Somebody's got to get really dirty to do it too.
And that's very valuable. I mean, I value my auto mechanic. I value my HVAC.
We sometimes don't even want to share because you find somebody's really good and you don't want them to get so busy they can't
and
can't help
you. Find them, you trust them, you keep going.
Thank you all. With that, we're going to wrap up this program, but it's only the beginning of the conversation. You can share with us your comments, email, or hashtag WFSU AmGrad what you want to know about these topics. Also, you can share this program with parents, students, and others you think can benefit from this information. It'll be archived at WFSU Media on Facebook, and within the next 24 hours, we'll have it on YouTube, as well as our webpage, gradstowork.wfsu.org. I'd like to thank Shelly Bell, Dan McGrew, Teresa Dennis, Jacob Blackman for joining us today, for Kim Kelling and myself, and everyone at WFSU Public Media and American Graduate. Have a great evening, everyone.
American Graduate Getting to Work is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting.